Alright, let's see if this is actually working right today. Everybody move to the gate. Hi, friend.
Hi.
Oh,
friend.
hi. Oh, he's very committed to being a paladin.
No.
Get that?
He's
Okay.
got commitment issues.
Alright,
That
so
boy needs a therapist.
you know,
Okay.
for the sake of not confusing people with these pictures of characters that people aren't playing anymore, I'm just gonna turn these off. There. I should put like. One day we're gonna get like cameras for everybody. Like everybody's gonna have to be on camera, like all of us at the same time.
We can do that.
Alright.
Laurel would like that very much.
So this is our Dungeon World game, and Dungeon World is a tabletop role-playing game that's kind of along a similar vein of like, you know, Dungeons and Dragons, World of Darkness, and all that stuff that people play when they're super nerdy like I am. It's a 2d6 based system where everything is resolved based on what you roll. Anything 6 and below is typically a failure. 7 through 9 is success with a twist. And 10
The
is,
twist.
and 10 is you get exactly what you want out of the action you're performing. It is a collaborative storytelling game in the way that we will also, as the players, be responsible sometimes for providing some of the narrative and description and deciding on elements of the setting ourselves.
What that basically means is sometimes Laurel will throw us under the bus.
Yep.
Yes.
She often throws us under the bus.
And be prepared. Be prepared today for the bus.
Oh god.
Laurel there is our game master, dungeon master, storyteller, mistress in charge, whatever you would like to call her. She is the master of ceremonies, as it were. Dio is going to be playing our cleric named Kethra, and she follows a god of secrets.
Yeah.
Precious secrets. Elle is playing Alexandra Flameheart. Sometimes.
Sometimes. Don't make me put you in a dress, bitch.
And she practices magic, a lot of illusion-based magic, but also some maybe draconic. Yeah.
Draconic and illusion-based magic.
Yeah. Martkos is playing our bear. That's all I have to say. That's really all I have to say. Like
IR bear.
he our bear. And we got with us Yumi as well. Yumi is playing a wonderful, wonderful changeling by the name of Lillith. And she's fun. And then I will be playing Jaylin the fighter, who also is actually a werewolf. And apparently you get thrown under buses and stuff. So yeah, that's who we got with us today. What are we doing today?
So, today...
Oh, Marco!
Today we're doing that.
Jesus Christ!
IR bear. Roar.
That's what we're doing. So, when we last left our epic heroes, you guys had just gotten back from ending the threat at the tomb of King Stormheart and putting his spirit to rest and dealing yet another decisive defeat to the forces of the Death Lord Amut and his allies, the Demon Lord Basago. And there was a feast in your honor, and all of you get the best of dwarven hospitality. There is music, there is booze, there is food. You get to watch King Noggin, Mithril Leg, dance with his one leg.
And fine.
On the table.
Is he accompanied by some fine bearded ladies?
By some fine bearded ladies. And he sings songs of his own, tells stories about his own adventures, and you get to hear in detail about the day that he lost his leg in the library, uh, and the fact that his father had been um, manipulated by a servant of the death um, cult back then, and that some heroes had come through from a place called Haven. Have any of the characters heard of Haven before?
Um,
I don't think Mathin would have.
I
there's
know
no.
Alexandra definitely would have.
Yeah,
Yep.
Alexandra. Yes. There's no reason for Jaylin to know.
Nope.
I don't think Kethra would have either.
Um, and he mentions that um that Haven is a place, it's a realm outside the realms, a very small place, but that he himself has been there. Um and he looks at Alexandra and he goes, "Isn't that where your father goes and has his annual chess tournament?"
Yeah, I think that's where grandfather goes, and he
Your
occasionally
grandfather.
takes father as well.
It's your grandfather. And he like takes a big drink and he goes, your grandfather cheats at chess.
And she just sighs and says, "Yeah, I know."
He goes, but hell of a wizard. Hell of a wizard.
Unfortunately.
And he goes, uh, but he goes, Haven's actually ruled by one of the by one of the dragons. Well, I shouldn't say ruled. It's sort of her pocket realm where she takes people. Because way back when, and he starts to tell the story of the Draconic War and how way back in the days the dragons had their own game going, and that most of them ended up dying, and the one to hold out against the um mad god had been the dragon Viola, who was originally a young girl who became a dragon. And the way he speaks of Viola, you almost get the sense that he's a little bit in love with her. He clearly dotes on her. And he goes, and yep, it was some of her people that were here the day that I got my leg bit off. And he goes, that was a day. That was
Yeah.
a day.
Oh, things are always interesting when dragons are involved, and yeah.
They are, as you've probably noticed, that we do a lot of research on dragons. Uh, it kind of started from where we were when the Draconic War was going on and who we fought for, kind of back then. Long story, long boring story, and he kind of changes the subject. And you guys get to go. Is there anything you want to do at the Dwarven Feast before you go to bed and get prepared to head off to Red Mountain the next day?
No, I think Jaylin's good.
Yeah, I think Mathin's good too.
Yeah, Kethra's good.
Check in on Iago, who probably is sleeping outside somewhere. What?
He is still curled up on one of the spires, and the dragons the dwarves have been bringing him lots of food. He looks bigger than he looked when you last checked on him. Like he's grown another 3 feet. And he puts his head down and he sighs and he goes, "Is it bad of me to kind of wish I was a boy again?
You'll
I
find
know this is what I wanted, but I can't go inside."
No, but one day you'll find a way to switch freely back and forth.
I hope so.
Well, I guess that's what all those books about dragons say.
Yeah. He goes, I can't go with you to the Red Mountain. I can't fly very well yet, and I definitely can't fit on a griffin right now.
Yeah.
Kind of like eating griffins. I mean, they smell really good. Do you think they taste good?
I think maybe we should find something else for you to eat.
Fine. Maybe you could find out if I could have a griffin that died of natural causes.
I'll keep an ear out.
Okay.
Kind of reaches up to pat him on the head, kind of thing. It's not happening.
He tries to lick Jaylin's hand. At this point, his tongue is big enough that it kind of goes from the elbow to the tip of his.
Well, I've heard people talking about their kids growing up fast. This is kind of excessive.
And morning comes, and Noggin is there to meet you guys, and he goes, "Good news, good news. I had sent word to get the flying axe back to the capital city in time for you to use. And it returned during the night. We've got it fully provisioned. I'm sending my very best squadron of elite riders to accompany you, and a half a legion of armed of my best knights and fighters and some clerics on board the flying axe with you. This will be, and he goes, I wish I could go with you myself, but I've been told by the council that I have to wait this one out. He goes, but if you're victorious and you need help retaking your capital city, Jaylin, I'm your dwarf. And he pats him on the shoulder.
He can reach that high?
Yes, he can.
He probably props himself up on the fake leg. I mean, wait, what? No. Jaylin's like, I'll remember that. Little telltale. Jaylin will remember that. Pops. No.
And you guys, he doesn't even explain to you until you're sent out. And we'll wait. The screen catch up.
What is the flying axe?
That
Have a look at your map, yeah.
is the flying axe.
Yeah, that was
It doesn't look very axe-like.
It's a giant dwarven-built airship.
I like it.
They are very proud of it. It is their crown achievement of dwarven warcraft, and they're giving you a ride to the Red Mountain.
So you're saying this contraption flies of its own accord?
They have the dwarven engineer, or the captain, who is Martkos. Give me a name for the captain.
Oh,
there's that bus.
Yeah, there comes that bus. Let's see. Let's go Captain Forgewing.
Captain Forgewing. And he is tall for a dwarf. And has long blonde hair and a blonde beard, and he wears the big goggles, and and kind of a pirate-like hat and costume. But he has navigator goggles, and just is very pleased to show you around the ship. Uh, and when you guys take off, there's this sound that is almost like a dragon's roar, and the decks underneath you shudder, and steam comes out from beneath it, and it kind of starts to shudder and rise. And he leans back, and he kind of grins at you all, watching your reactions to the ship taking off.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know if Jaylin's ever been on an airship. This is probably, yeah, I don't think so. And I don't know if Farland had airships.
If it did, you'd never seen one there.
Yeah. He goes, this is unique. Beginning to think that maybe I don't want to be aware of how high we are right now.
Mathin at first was kind of wary, because like he can fly, you know, he can become a bird. Griffins are fine; they are natural things that are supposed to fly. This is a big heap of metal contraption. But then he just remembers, you know what? This thing falls out the sky, I can just turn it into a bird. It's fine.
Fuck the others, but I can be a bird.
Like, screw you guys. I will just wave my claw at you as you fall out of the sky, you know?
And you go sailing off towards the Red Mountain, and behind you stream several dozen griffin riders. And the airship quiets down a little bit once it reaches its cruising velocity, and the captain kind of takes you to his it's not his personal bedroom, but it's sort of his state office, where there's clearly where they plan war meetings, and they have dinners, and they have a orchestron, and you all get the treat of listening to dwarven opera.
When you say treat, is that an actual treat, or?
If your characters likes the music of Wagner and the big epic bellowing then it might be a treat. To other lesser souls, not so much.
Well.
So what do you all do at this moment in time?
Jaylin is gonna stay there and listen, because it doesn't have to look outside to see where they are in the sky. Somehow he's okay with riding griffins, not so much riding metal. He's actually nervous. A cross between Tibetan monk music and Western classical? That would be kind of cool. Yeah.
Yes. Mathin, you too feel kind of a disconnect from the places that you normally have your tethers to. So it kind of is an odd feeling.
Yeah, I think like the music would be, you know, like the elf music from his childhood would be very different from this. and then for so many years he's been in a quiet forest. So it's the music's a little loud, like he's feeling a little unsettled. So I feel like he'd be outside. I don't know if there's like some kind of railing or something. He'd just be standing, kind of looking back the way they've come at the mountains as they fade away in the forest in the distance.
Roll your wisdom.
That's about to be a good roll. Yep.
And Kethra, now roll yours. Mathin, you feel a disturbance in the force
Oh,
up ahead of you. Of something is being summoned into the earth, like a giant pull of unnatural energy is just spiking to the east in the direction of the Red Mountain. And it just hits you right in the gut and almost doubles you over.
okay.
And the last time you had any kind of sensation like this at all was when you were escaping from Rune Shadow Island with that spirit. That
Okay.
And you basically transplanted halfway across the known world. It feels like at this point in time something has just ripped its way into reality. Dio,
Yes.
you feel your connection with Belle flash. It isn't so much it's not that you lose. It is you feel the fact that something has just disturbed the god of secrets herself. Or himself, Belle doesn't. Belle is gender ambiguous.
Themselves.
Themselves. And there are suddenly a clanging bell, or I should say, a clanging whistles and bells, from the ship, and the captain is getting yelled at that, holy fuck, you need to see this, sir. What do we do?
Jaylin's grabbing his gear. He's running out.
Yeah, Mathin is heading in like the direction he got that sense from, so like to the east of the ship, I guess, and following where the shouts are coming for the captain to see.
All right. If we take just a little further down the map, there is something to the south to look at.
A very small speck of nothing.
All right. You see the big mountain there,
Yes.
which is Red Mountain, and you see Red Mountain down there below.
Uh-huh.
I see the tip of it.
It was
You
the
see
tip of it.
You see
Let's
the
see.
tip of it. The tip of it is moving skyward.
Oh,
The mountain is moving?
The mountain is moving skyward, like it's being pushed up from below.
good God.
Oh. 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 Okay. Okay.
And for size proportion, that dragon creature that's
Yes.
there, that's about the size of your ship.
Awesome.
Radio.
Mother
Ooh,
of
he
God.
big.
Guys, I don't think I can stab that. Well, I probably could, but...
I was gonna say, not with that attitude.
Does it look like it wants to chat?
It looks like it wants to eat. And a long tongue is lashing out at its out of its gaping maws towards the ship, and the ship performs evasive maneuvers. Elle, would you be
Yes.
so kind as to roll for the ship's evasive maneuvers for me? 2d6.
I thought of the same thing, Creed. Ooh, the ship evade. The dude abide. Hopefully, I mean.
Excellent. The ship evades. But there is a minor consequence. And Elle, I know how much you hate being put on the being put on the bus. But since I chose you to roll, you get to pick what the minor consequence to this ship is.
Oh, I swear to God.
What would a good minor consequence be? All the consequences I can think are major.
In the maneuvering of the ship, the navigator, the dwarven navigator falls overboard.
There we go. The navigator gets lost and falls towards their death. And the captain curses. What would you guys like to do?
Ketra's gonna review her spell book real quick and see what it is she can do that isn't gonna kill anybody.
What is this thing like dragonkin, or is it just like it looks more serpent-like? I guess.
You can make a discern realities roll upon it.
I
Ooh,
know
I
what
heard-
Kethra wants to do.
Kethra,
Oh.
what would you like to do?
Kethra would like to cast the spell Contagion on the flying mountain beast thing. It says, choose a creature you can see. Until the end of the spell, the target suffers from a disease of your choice. While this spell is ongoing, you take -1 to cast a spell.
What disease would you like to cast upon? We're going to call it the
Mountain monster.
The mountain monster.
Wow.
Hmm.
That's what Lilith probably just shouts out. Look at the mountain monster. Everybody just refers to it.
Yeah.
Yes. Crap, I don't know. We'll give it the plague.
You were giving it to... Well, okay.
Go
Sounds
ahead
like
and
a terrible
roll,
idea.
You get a 9. Describe the effect the plague has upon the mountain monster.
So the monster itself is going to suddenly feel extremely feverish and achy, and it starts to feel weakened, and like the tips of the red tips of the mountain start to turn black.
The mountain monster has been successfully debuffed.
Yay!
Okay. Do you want me to still make that discern realities on it?
Absolutely.
Ten.
Oh, right. You get to ask some questions.
Okay. What should I be on the lookout for?
The giant fucking mountain monster.
While you had never felt quite that same pull of magic since when you had been teleported away off the island by that spirit, there was something else now that you've had a moment to just kind of collect yourself. There was something else to that magic that reminded you of how it feels when Lillith casts her spells. And you suspect that this has been named into existence. So you should be lookout on for someone that is either Lilith's species or Lilith's class. Because however Lilith's magic works, you know she's Fae, so it's questionable which is which. Whether
Okay.
she was taught or whether she was born with that kind of magic, you don't know her well enough to guess without having a conversation with her about it. But you should be looking out for somebody like Lillith who wants to kill you all.
Fair enough. Okay, that. I feel that kind of negates who's really in control here.
Yeah, that would kind of give the answer would have been the pretty much.
Yeah, same thing. Okay. I now also don't really care if it's Dragonkin or not because I don't think it's going to want to speak to me, being an elf and all. If it's just been summoned to.
It's. Yeah, but however, I'm going to give that to you. It is Dragonkind.
Okay. What here is useful or valuable to me?
The ship itself and its guns is probably an excellent weapon against it. But if there was naming magic involved in creating this beast, then perhaps naming magic can also boost the ship and you guys.
Okay. I think most of the questions have kind of been answered at that. So I guess can I hold that one in case I need it, like, for this creature again?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, Mathin's gonna call to Lillith. And the others, and say, yeah, that he feels that presence of that kind of magic. This thing has been made or brought from somewhere, or just made into existence. This isn't a natural thing that was here. And he's going to then call out to the captain of the ship, and say, you better get those guns working. And then I kind of want to do something really stupid.
I always approve of stupid.
Yeah, so he's going to look at Lillith and say, we're going to need your talents here. And then he is going to leap over the side of the ship. And I would like to, I think we'll go for the Griffin again. if I can transform into a griffin.
Sure you can.
Don't fail your roll.
Yep.
I was
Don't
going to
fail
say,
your
have you
roll.
not heard of transforming on the ship then jumping?
Nope.
Right after he jumps, Lilith is gonna like be looking over the edge and like, wait, what do
Yeah,
you mean?
that's
I don't
actually where
understand.
Jaylin's been the whole time. Is he's been like standing against a rail on the edge, just staring at this thing. And Mathin just comes barreling past him and jumps over the edge, and he's just like,
Yeah, and as you look over, I got my 10, hooray. Yeah, you see Mathin just spear over the side, and then a griffin suddenly appear shooting towards this monster. And I would like to go for the eyes and just be a general nuisance and distraction to this thing, hopefully allowing the people on the ship and the ship to maneuver and do what it needs to do.
All right. That is what Mathin is doing. What what is everybody else doing?
staring on helplessly.
Can I tell what Mathin is trying to do?
Yes, you can.
What's he trying to do?
He's trying to go distract it.
Yeah, I'm trying to give you time and for the ship to be, at least for now, kind of not its primary focus, I guess, just because it's now got something buzzing around its eye that's going to be clawing and beaking it and stuff.
Jaylin's like, Lillith, have you ever heard any stories about... He looks down at the airship and he goes, air battles?
Not with mountain monsters.
Huh. Can you make a new one?
I actually just realized I should probably roll my my fables before I do anything else.
Roll first. That's perfectly acceptable.
Okay, cool. I get 2 fables. Fuck.
Which two do you want?
Shit. Sorry. Did you hear the one about the mountain monster that choked on its tongue?
No, you'll have to tell us.
Once upon a time there was a mountain monster, and it accidentally swallowed its tongue when it was trying to eat a bird lion thing, and it died from choking on its tongue.
Oh man, if I had my camera on, Jaylin is just staring.
Apparently we might not need those guns on the ship after all.
The ship, as it's firing into it, and the ship's kind of plunk off of most of its armor, but as the tongue kind of gets whipped back and starts wrapping around its own mouth, where it doesn't quite choke it, but now the maws are closed and it's trying to liberate itself. Doesn't appear to be dying, but it is no longer gaping maws. I'm going to devour your entire ship in one little bite. Alexandra, roll intelligence for me. as Lillith cast her story and as it started taking hold, someone else cast a spell.
Am
They're
I able to tell from where?
from on top of the mountain monster. You can't see the spellcaster. It's so big, and a humanoid is so small. But you are dead sure that there is a someone riding the mountain monster that is basically spell casting at all of you, or spell casting at it to try and make it eat you. And the power level of this person is clearly on par with Nostradamus on his best day.
What? 9,000? Sorry.
I was gonna say, if you had to put a number on it, what would that number be?
It would be a 12 on a 2d6.
Ooh. That is over 9,000.
Oh, fuck. This is not going to end well. And Alexandra's just going to turn to the others and just be like, so, any of you know how to fly?
Ooh, I do.
You could put me on a griffin.
Lilith is like jumping up and down with her hand in the air. I know how to fly.
Lilith, think you could get me over there?
You look kind of heavy.
That's actually an interesting point. What are the Griffin legions following us doing?
Oh, they're flying at it, and they're basically starting to do the airplane scene on King Kong.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna attempt to pick up Alexandra by her arms and try and fly her over there. Would you like me to roll strength?
Yes, please.
Oh, dear God, I'm going to die.
Oh, yeah.
Cross your fingers.
No,
Oh,
you are
God.
more than strong enough to pick her
Ooh.
up. And not only because you got a 10, Alexandra does not have to roll Defy Danger.
Phew.
Congratulations. You saved Alexandra a Defy Danger roll.
Thank you.
Put the characters back on the screen just for that, but Elle isn't playing Elle anymore. Soon I'll get Elle off there. And then we'll...
One of these days.
One of these days, but I don't want to... I miss Elle. I don't want... She died. And
Funny you should say that, Jaylin.
No, what? What?
Funny
Oh.
you should say
What?
that. Just
What?
nothing. Just funny you should say that.
What? No, what?
Mm.
What? No, you can't Earl
Yeah.
us.
Anyway.
Don't you do it, Laurel. Don't you
Oh,
do
Anyway.
for fuck's sake, Laurel. I swear to
Anyway.
God, if you've done what I think you've done.
Anyway, let me let me continue on.
Yes, anyway.
Anyway, as we now have Lilith and Alexandra flying towards the mountain. We have Mathin, who is attacking an eye. Mathin,
Yes.
we're going to make this a dex-based roll, and
Okay.
you're going to get an extra, a +1 for Griffin Dex.
Okay.
The 13?
We'll take the 13.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say, did anyone else see a bunch of dice roll?
Yes, we did. We're going to take the 13.
Okay.
And you are about to plunge yourself into a mountain monster's eye. You
Yay.
are a tiny speck, even in your biggest griffin form. You are a mote, a mote-sized griffin into this huge eye. But nonetheless, you're going to take your damage and roll it, and then we're going to double it. And
Okay.
you're going to evade without needing a defying danger roll.
An 8 then.
How many people in our audience have ever gotten a mosquito or something, a speck of dust in your eye, and now imagine you don't have hands
No.
to get to rub it
No.
out.
No, that's enough of that description. We're done.
Yeah.
And imagine at the same time your tongue has been wrapped around your muzzle. So
Muzzle?
yeah, it has a muzzle. So, well, imagine you had a muzzle and your tongue was wrapped around your muzzle, and you have a speck in your eye. The mountain monster
And you don't have
is
hands.
thrashing, and it's like, waving itself back and forth and back and forth. Now, imagine you are a spellcaster that was on top of one of this mountain, and all of this was going on.
Yay! Distraction.
So, Kethra, since you roll
Yes.
awful, we're going to have you roll Defy Danger for the antagonist.
Oh,
yes.
Roll
I feel like-
2d6.
Yeah, don't forget, and you have the plague.
Oh, yeah, and you have the plague.
I forgot.
I
about
almost
that.
forgot.
Yay! The dice didn't fail us today.
So, Alexandra, you and Lillith get to see grab something here. Sorry, y'all. I had it.
What's going on?
This scene needs to be a movie. This would be freaking epic. Like all these griffins with dwarfs on them flying around,
It's
and
Top Gun, but with dwarves.
it's
Imagine, if you will, you're a tiny little speck on the mountain, and now you're falling. You're falling off the mountain to your death.
oh, to the death. Nice.
You have, because of your situation, you have a free shot to set him on fire or otherwise use your magic if you would like, Alexandra, while you're being flown.
I'm
if
gonna
you
cast black magic.
do it.
Oh no.
You get +1 forward.
$11.
You get
And
to
I'm
do
just
very
gonna
good
give
things.
that the piercing and the +1d8 tag.
Sure.
And of course it's gonna have ranged.
Bam. You cause the person that was responsible for creating the monster to get incinerated. And as they're incinerated, their magic starts to fall apart. This was not a happy mountain monster to begin with. And it just kind of shudders, and it's falling down. It's sort of melting away. And it takes about 5 minutes from start to finish and the ship itself needs to make a Defy Ranger roll. Defy Danger roll. Jaylin, roll Defy Danger for the ship. 2d6 plus 2.
Nine.
The ship only takes minor damage, cosmetic damage from shrapnel as the mountain kind of recedes and becomes the mountain once more. And the mountain monster is no more.
Yay.
And whatever the corpse of the person that was responsible for all of this is lost in the carnage that is the mountain monster.
Damn.
Yes.
Damn mountain monsters.
And whoops. Oops.
You delorted it.
Lorded.
It's delorted.
It's Delorald.
And the
It's
party
Delord.
then sees a griffin fly over and land on the ship, who is slightly more covered in eye jelly than it was before.
Yeah, there's that moment where Jaylin goes to like pat it to like, you know, be like, good job, and then he like stops his hand short and goes, I'll get you next time.
Just little air pets.
And the captain's just kind of staring at the mountain, staring at all of you, going, did that just the fuck happen?
No, I'm pretty sure we all dreamt that. What'd you put in the drinks, anyways?
Okay, session over. That was enough excitement for one day.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. And he's kind of shaking it off. And it's like, all right, I think we're done here. It's like, going to land? And he takes the ship down. And the Griffin riders all kind of take themselves down. They fly. He sends them to kind of fly around and check it out. And he goes, okay, I think it's just a mountain again. And that's good, right?
What are things that I never thought I would say? I'm hoping that's good. I can tell you that when they get off, that Jaylin is going to be poking at things with his, poking at rocks that he sees with his sword. Like, you, okay.
Okay, I want to add a creature. There are mountain crabs that like curl up and just look like rocks. So at one point you poke something and it moves.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Stay away from me, you devil!
Though that is absolutely allowed and going to happen now.
Make mountains mountainy again. Man, this adventure rocks.
That was funny.
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
I see what you did there. And I approve.
Up, 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 up. All right. As you approach the mountain now, which is back to being a normal mountain, you see you see Laurel shut her window and go back to Roll20. Like, how? Worst GM ever. Kicking
I thought you meant like an
myself
actual
out of the
window.
game. Okay, let's try that again. Sorry, all. I completely... Here we go. While this isn't really a token, we're going to make it a token for right now. You see a cavern entrance.
Okay.
With dwarven graffiti inside the tunnel. And kind of a shimmering light just out of sight. Or just at the end of the tunnel. Kind of there-ish as you're starting into the entrance. And there is a figure
Discern reality.
walking towards you. Okay, roll it.
I'm going to be sniffing.
Sniff. Sniff, sniff.
9 on my sniff.
Excellent. Ask your question.
Let me look. What is about to happen?
You are about to have an encounter with a figure that is walking towards you.
Well, that was a
We
great
learned
roll.
so much
We
information.
learned
Yes.
so much.
Congrats, you fucking
Like,
license.
is it an aggressive walk, or is it just a normal, like, yeah.
At this moment in time, I am going to switch maps on you guys again. So just one moment as we move forward. I know.
Is that an aetheryte?
Wait, is there there is an aetheryte here. Holy crap.
It's a 1.0 aetheryte.
Did anybody bring any money for teleports? Because,
It's a 1.0 aetheryte. I hope you're not out of
Right.
anima yet.
Rothgar,
Yes.
you have been sent by your father, who you have been demonstrating sort of some very dissident like behavior. And you just had the experience of having the master, basically, and that's just it, is the master, who had brought you all here to the mountain, who had just done things that you couldn't see, but there was a lot of like shifting and moving and booming inside, just died. And the spell that you had been under for you don't know how long, of where you were blindly following what you were told by the master, just snapped. And you have been guarding the entrance with a couple of people, and now the entrance is back to being the entrance. And you see a party of 4 people and a griffin.
Okay.
As a Mathin's a griffin, who are appearing to come walking in. There is something about Jaylin that you recognize as kin. And Jaylin, you have that same sensation about the person who's walking towards you.
I roll Constitution.
Do it!
Just as soon as I find my sheet. Okay. Jaylin growls.
Jaylin growls.
Uh-huh.
Then Rothgar pauses as he's walking forward when he hears this, and he looks pointedly at Jaylin, and he growls right back.
That's what I thought. Jaylin kind of looks back over his shoulder at the others.
What's going on, Jaylin?
I'm not sure. Who goes there?
And Rothgar laughs, and he looks at them all, and he's like, "No, you are on our territory. Who goes there for you, my friend?"
I mean, we could beat the rest of the mountain down.
And he looks kind of thoughtful, and he's like, "Huh, so it was you."
Well, not me particularly. He goes, I am Jaylin Toss.
And I'm assuming that I recognize that name.
Yes, you do.
Okay. I'm curious, Laurel. How do I feel about that name? How does this?
You tell me.
Beep beep.
Then yeah, I'm gonna go with the original plan I had for this character then. And he is not happy to hear that name.
Uh-oh.
Oh, look at the little griffin!
Here's your griffin.
Little Griffin!
PKJ bus emote.
Beep, beep.
Yeah, so when he hears Taos' name, he looks again at Jaylin, and it's a fierce look. And he's like, Taos? Taos' name died out long ago.
So I've been told.
Kethra just walks up because she doesn't like this, and she said, and yet one stands before you, very much alive.
And he looks down at Kethra because he's fairly tall. And then he looks back to Jaylin and is like, "Is this one yours?"
Oh, Jaylin doesn't know how to answer that.
Like, he just glances at Kethra and then just completely ignores her and just goes straight back to talking to Jaylin. It's just like, yeah. Does this one belong to you?
Kethra glares at him and steps further forward in between the two of them and says, I belong to no man.
Damn right, girl.
Yeah, she belongs to me.
That's in character, by the way.
Oh. Jaylin actually decides to step forward to defuse the situation, so he's standing beside Kethra. And he's like, you know my name. Like, you know, the Toss name. He's like, perhaps you could tell us why. Or what happened. What you know of my family.
The Toss family once ruled, but that has long since gone, and they have died out. I don't know who you are, boy, but I doubt you're one of them.
He draws his sword, but not threateningly, and shows off the markings.
And Hrothgar looks at it with a little bit of recognition. He'll never have seen something like that, but he'll have been told about it. So it's enough that he would recognize it as, you know, something important to that name.
This is the mark of my house, and this sword bears the wisdom of my ancestors.
And for a second, you see Hrothgar almost kind of like go to take a step back, as if there's some kind of force there, or some almost like instinct, I guess. But he kind of snaps out of it again and stands up straight again and kind of as intimidating as he can be, and just looks again at Jaylin and is like, "This is just, you could have picked that up anywhere. That means nothing."
May I roll for heirloom, Laurel?
Yes, you can.
Let's see. Let me double check on this. I want to see if we can, even though it's not necessarily how it, like it. Let's see.
I would like
I
to
am
do
going
something
to let
stupid.
you how heirloom works if you get a success.
That's a 12 to consult the spirits that reside within his signature weapon. On a 10 plus, let's see. Basically, you're supposed to ask them about what to do in the current situation, and they on a 10 plus, the GM gives you a good detail. On 7 through 9, it gives a good impression. So
The Storm Talons are very much a species of right is might. Challenge him, defeat him, and he will recognize your sovereignty.
The sword is glowing while this is going on, by the way.
Because of the sword itself, Rothgar, you are going to take a -1 penalty, and Jaylin is going to take a +1 penalty on your dice rolls.
A +1 penalty?
Accept the challenge.
Okay.
So Jaylin looks at the sword and it glows as he does this, and he takes a step back and moves into a ready stance, and he goes, I challenge you. He sounds not sure of it. He's like, I challenge you. He goes, I will prove that I am who I say I am.
And Rothgar just looks at him for a moment, kind of just trying to, I guess, weigh you up a little. And he just laughs. And he just, with a great big grin on his face, he's just like, very well, boy. I could use the exercise.
Jaylin also grabs his shield. He pulls his shield.
And he takes a step back and just lifts this mighty axe from his back. That's basically just like a sharpened chunk of stone tied to a long pole. It is heavy. It is brutal.
You have to imagine. Okay, so Jaylin's not like incredibly tall himself, so he's just kind of peering up at it, like, oh, okay.
Kethra liked his Jaylin.
Huh?
Rothgar looks at Kethra, who's still kind of standing. I guess you would kind of be in the middle of them now if Jaylin took a step back. And he just looks at her and he's, move aside, girl. I would want to mess up those pretty features.
And she just growls at him under her breath and then turns to Jaylin and would like to cast Bless.
Do it.
And Laurel?
Yes.
I'd also like to cast an illusion on Jaylin's shield.
Oh, what are you guys doing?
Go.
I want to make it look like his shield is on fire.
By all means.
Jaylin, you now have a +1 going forward as long as your battle with this scrub of a man continues.
So you now have +2 forward.
What are you guys doing? I can fight my own fight.
Yeah, but we make it interesting.
And Kethra's going to get real close and whisper in his ear and go, I know, darling, but I want to make sure you annihilate this jackass.
So he starts to do that, that where they walk the half circle, around each other, kind of thing. Mathin rolls 9 on con? What? No.
Yeah, it's supposed to be for Yeah.
I was about to say, wait, is the Griffin gonna come in too? No.
Hold on 2 seconds to figure this out. Where is it? Okay, yeah.
All right. Since there's not really an initiative here, Laurel.
There is not an initiative here, so both of you roll your
No,
Oh, go ahead.
if you don't mind, Laurel, like Rothgar's going to have heard and Kethra mumbling and seen the effect on Jaylin and seen the shield burst into flame, and he's just going to have laughed again, and he's like, "Good, this might be slightly more of a fair fight for you now, boy." and he's just going to stand there, like the axe head is on the ground. He's just holding the shaft of it, and he's just standing there, like, make your move.
Okay, Jaylin, you go first.
Because I'll show you who boy. Add 2 to this roll. And so 9.
Don't you actually have a +3 because you had a +1 for the sword, +1 from the bless, and a +1 from Alexandria?
No.
Oh no, mine was just to make him look cool.
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, he just looks cool.
Alexandra's is cosmetic.
All right. Roskar, defy danger and get higher than a 9. You're at -1.
Okay.
Can
Then
I
we shall just.
interfere?
No, it's a challenge. It's a formal challenge. You interfere, you're gonna make Jaylin lose.
Oh!
Oh! You might not need it.
Take your point, Rothgar.
Yes.
All right, Jaylin, describe your attack.
Okay, so he's just standing there, waiting for me to make a move, huh?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Jaylin is going to step in like he's gonna go for a sword slash, but it's gonna fake out, which is why Rothgar tries to move. And he's going to then come back around and hit him with the pommel of the sword. Side of the head.
Roll your damage.
Maybe, I don't know. Depends on the damage. We'll see where he hit. I'm not rolling full damage. He actually gets +1d8 on and all that on top of it, but I'm not. It's
Okay.
So 7.
I mean, go for full damage if you want. Like, I'm fine with that.
Well, I know why you're fine with it, so it's 10 total.
10. Okay, so I take 6. I have 4 armor currently.
Yeah. All right, Roskar. The kid just slapped you in the side of the head.
And yeah, like he kind of shakes his head a little, and you know, having been I guess kind of tricked, you know, by the feint, and he looks at him and he nods a little, and he's like, okay, not bad, and he says, let's see how well that shield holds up, and he's just gonna put his other hand on the shaft of the axe and just heave it round towards Jaylin's shield arm.
Defy danger?
Yeah.
Is this gonna be... Well, it doesn't matter. Strength and Dex is both the same for me. Alexandra, shut up!
Are you rolling or am I?
Well, you're gonna have to roll for... We're gonna have to both roll, because it's gonna be... You're gonna roll the hack and slash, right? And I have to beat it.
Okay. So that'll be 10.
This will be +2 to whatever I roll as well. 11. So he's gonna bring the shield up to bear and catch the axe with it. Definitely a loud clang though. There's not like he's not.
Yeah. You're gonna feel the vibration through your arm as well.
Yeah. He kind of just seething behind. He's just like, it's like gonna have to do better than that.
And yeah, see you kind of you know, actually block that blow. He looks at you again, and then he like crouches down into a proper like fighting stance. Like, okay, maybe this is a maybe this is a bit of a challenge.
All right, going for the attack. 12. Let's see. This is gonna be. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. I had to note something. Stupid fighter stuff. Two of this is gonna be armor piercing. 15.
Oh,
Oh, nice. Okay.
Wow.
So that's 13 damage.
So he's going for a thrust right for the gut. He's hoping somebody can heal him back up. He's not meaning to kill this guy, but yeah. I guess we'll let him make a move now. We'll just alternate who takes turns.
Okay. Yeah, so you get a decent cut on me, I guess.
Yeah, just like
with that damage.
Yeah. We'll call it for a slash, because like I said, he's not going for a kill, so he's just like, he unexpectedly catches a bit more of you than he was hoping to.
Yeah. So yeah, like I put a hand down to my like side, I guess, and it comes back up bloody. And you see my eyes flash, that kind of wolf like that you tend to do as well.
He takes note of that, and he's growling.
Yeah. And yeah, you hear the growl start in Rothgar as well. And he just grabs the axe again and brings it like in an overhead now. He's starting to not really care about not killing you. Just,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like this is like, okay, I'm going to put my strength into this now. And he's bringing it down overhead for your head.
Okay. Laurel, we're gonna get Jaylin killed here.
What are these dice?
you're welcome.
Jaylin's gonna try to hold the shield over his head.
Nice.
Oh.
These bonuses and penalties.
Yeah, he does it, but once again. So you get him to buckle. He's down like on a knee, holding the shield over him, pushing the axe back as best he can.
I'm looking fucking awesome doing it.
Behind Rothgar, two more storm talons appear in their war forms, and they howl and cheer him on. And basically and say to Rothgar is like you'll share the women, Alpha? And one of them like licks its lips and looks at Kethra. And the other one says I don't know, I like the blonde.
Rolling
And
Constitution.
Rothgar turns round to them and laughs. He says, "Of course," but he points at Kethra and he's like, "But that one is mine."
Yep. And Jaylin is no longer. He's now furry.
Yep.
Yeah.
He is now. He's still in that same position, but basically explodes into the same form that they're in. Hey.
Jaylin has fully embraced his persona.
Yep.
All right.
But white fur, like just a rush of water actually with this change, surprisingly. And then yeah. And he's going to slowly stand back up, pushing the axe away as he does. I'm gonna try that.
And Rothgar just looks at him, and now he gets like a real wolfish grin on his face. And he's like, okay. It looks like at least I know you are one of us.
What was the name of their kingdom, Laurel?
Oh, man.
We still haven't named it.
XP point to the person who names the kingdom.
Wolfsaven.
Wolfsaven.
Didn't we say it was Lothric?
Oh, Lothric. Yes,
That's
we
right,
did.
it is Lothric.
Darn
isn't
it.
Yumi, well, you'll still give you an XP.
Yay!
Because
I am,
Lothric.
he goes, I am Jaylin Toss, Crown Prince of Lothric, and I will not back down to the likes of you.
Roll your charisma, Jaylin.
Does
That's
it
an 8.
plus
You have
one?
+2.
Does the the blessed as well? It's an 8. Glowing sword,
It's
flaming
good
shield,
that
and
you
a
have-
werewolf.
And it's good that you had the bless and all of that, but you're still Rothgar. At this point in time, you are pretty sure that he is of the Tao's blood. Like you're
Okay.
pretty sure that at this point that he's a crown prince. It's just it's not impressing you because you're still kicking his ass. But you recognize it. No,
What?
no.
Who's kicking whose ass? Excuse me? Have you been watching this fight? I've got a VOD of it.
Is that it at this point is that it is not enough to make you decide to want to bend your knee to him.
Okay.
You're carrying this through.
Yep. I guess it's your go.
Uh-huh. Because he did that, and there's no backing down. He's actually going to sheathe the sword and go for a lunge. He's going to try to tackle Hrothgar.
Do it.
And he's not going to tackle.
Oh, even with the +2, that's a fail.
Yeah.
Finally.
It's a double 1. That's a pretty impressive fail.
All right, Hrothgar. At this point in time, you lose your negative penalty against him.
Yeah, that was a little
Okay.
bit more. That was a little bit more anger driven than like precise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I feel like you charge at me to throw for tackle, but when you hit me, it does nothing. And I want to just like he just lets go of the axe handle, and he just like heaves his arms around like your chest from as you're below him, and he wants to just like throw you against the tunnel wall, I guess.
Roll it. And
Yeah.
all right,
Yeah, he does
Jaylin,
that.
you do not get to defy danger. You get to soak this damage.
Okay.
And because of that being a hit and stuff, I have now hit frenzy, which means as I throw you against the wall, as you turn back, you see him change to match your form. But it's not like the water of yours. It's a much more kind of brutal looking change where like the skin just rips off him, and the wolf from inside, it's more like an inner thing coming out, and there is now just a great werewolf standing there.
Roll your damage.
Oh.
Ow.
And 2 of that is piercing.
So I will take 11 of that.
So he throws you and shifts and just roars in your direction.
Okay. Well, I am going to spend the 2 balance I've gained from the 2 times I've done damage to him to heal myself for 1d4 for each balance. He is going to hopefully. And he'll heal back 5 of them.
Ooh. Kethra hearing all the voices.
What is going on with
Ooh.
Kethra?
Going down in text.
Yeah, I'm just like, whoa, hold on a second.
Kethra's hearing voices, Alexandra's making bets, and also being offended that the wolves didn't want her.
So there's like another there's like mist around him where the wounds are, and some of or where he hit the wall and stuff, and some of that mends and knits itself back together. Not all of it. And he is I'm gonna have him push off against the wall and go at Rothgar hand to hand again. Because, that's working so well. Actually, since she just did that, Jaylin might be distracted. Actually, that'll be the explanation. If he fails this roll, yeah, okay. He's gonna go in for a little bit of a claw swipe kind of thing.
Or if you succeed in the role, you're bolstered by her words when she says that she belongs to you.
That's the fire danger on an 11. Or wait, 10? No, it's still 11.
It's 11. He just doesn't have his negative penalty anymore.
Oh, so close!
Close!
So close! So he basically springs off the wall and is just like slashing claw first. Like he's just flying at you claw first. And slashes it down and does. Nine minus armor.
Ooh. Yeah, so that is 5. And that puts me at 5 health remaining.
All right. The the 2 behind you howl and start to lose it. And one of them tries to lunge past you to get to Jaylin.
Can I stop him?
Yes.
Yeah. So I stagger back and like the claws, Jalen's claws rake down me. But I see like the flash of movement from the side. And instead of, retaliating against Jalen, I just whip my arm out and grab it by the neck and just like pin him against the wall, and just roar at his face, and then throw him back down the tunnel.
Phew. All right, Jaylin, that gave you a moment to breathe.
Yeah, he doesn't take advantage of that. He actually steps back and gathers himself again.
Because of that distraction, can I end my frenzy and turn back?
Yes, you can.
Okay. So yeah, he shifts back to the human form and he just roars again down the tunnel to the wolves and is just like, no, this will be a a fair fight. That is not how we do things. And he turns back to Jaylin and he kneels. And he's like, I concede. I believe who you are, who you say you are.
I would like to spend my 1 balance to heal him for 1d4. Hmm. 4.
Ooh, nice.
So he basically like extends a paw out, and like some of the mist actually like flows from him over you, and you feel some of your wounds, closing up, healing.
And he kind of looks down and sees, some of the wounds like knitting and just feels a little better. And he looks up and just kind of grunts and says, thank you. And then through kind of bare teeth is like, your grace.
And that's when he gets offered a hand up.
And he clasps it and gets to his feet. And he turns back to the other two wolves and growls at them and is like, go ahead, tell my father that we are coming. We have guests.
And they both.
And he's like, so, do you know who I am? Who are you?
And he turns back to Jaylin and says, I am Hrothgar Stormtalon. We are descended from the time when your family ruled. My family was close to yours, is all he's going to say.
He nods. He shifts back. He's back to normal. Goes, I was taken from this world when I was young, and it seems a lot more time has passed here.
Timeline-wise, how long ago was the Taus family in rule?
Was Laurel trying to remember? As you try to remember, you're feeling a conflict where your mind is telling you it was centuries ago. And yet at the same point in time at Hrothgar, you're going, no, wait, it's like the king only died 20? Was it 20 years ago? And yet, and suddenly it's like you realize that someone has imposed memories upon you that you don't, that are not your own, and suddenly you're not sure how
Okay.
long.
Yeah, so he goes to say, yeah, your family was gone long, and then he kind of like, because I'm putting him at like early 20s, I feel like he might get a flash of a memory of seeing like the king, and that's what kind of confuses him about, well, no, it can't have been that long ago. And he just shakes his head and says, yeah, it was a while ago, but we heard nothing of the prince being taken. We only thought the line had died.
So, yeah, I'm hearing a lot of that, and I don't really remember much myself. I'm picking up the pieces.
And Hrothgar, as you're kind of pulling out of that, and you take another look at Kethra, she looks different to you now, where you get this sort of uneasiness in the back of your mind that sometime in your childhood. It's like getting an image of your own mother, and it's going, you were taught to treat women like her with a lot of respect. And getting just that sort of flash of, if mother was alive, she would kick my ass.
So Jaylin, if you still look at him, sees like a visible wince. Like, yeah, it's almost like he had heard his mother shouting down the tunnel to him or something.
Uh-huh.
And he just puts like a hand on Jaylin's shoulder and walks past. And where he had fallen to one knee for Jaylin, he just falls to both knees in front of Kethra, and like hangs his head, not looking at her, and just says, "My lady, I am sorry for what I said." And he kind of like, he shakes his head a little, and it's like, something has happened to my people recently. We are not ourselves. Can you forgive me?
And Kethra's looking at him really confused and just kind of like puts her hand under his chin, like puts her hand under his chin and just kind of raises his face to look at her. And she says, well, that's why Jaylin's here. He wants to help you.
And there's kind of a flash of hope in his eyes. And he looks in Kethra's for a second and then turns to Jaylin and is like, is this true?
Yeah, it's absolutely true. Also, I can't help but notice that Alexandra's token is also named Jaylin Toth.
Oops!
Yeah, I've not had control of my token.
You know, I am so sorry.
I'm having an identity
like, it's
crisis
bad enough
right
when
now.
I get your gender wrong, but now I'm even assigning it to you in game. Oh, let's say, there you go, my darling.
Because what else did you think I was here for?
And he kind of just looks, I guess, kind of puzzled. And it's like, I guess I didn't think you were just intruders and claiming to be things that shouldn't have been. And again, he kind of hangs his head and is just, I apologize for my actions.
Jaylin looks to Kethra. You know, he's not gonna stand up until you say you accept his apology.
And she smiles and she's like, I don't know, Scrub, should I accept his apology? And you just hear like a snark come back in her voice.
And he actually looks between the two of them and goes, I'm going to let you two handle that. And he steps aside.
And he's still pretty beat up, right?
Yes.
So, I would like to cast Cure Moderate Wounds on what your Hrothgar?
Yep. Hrothgar, yeah.
Hrothgar, okay. I'm going to cast Cure Moderate Wounds on Hrothgar, and then I will forgive him.
I really hope that this is a good roll and she doesn't give him the play.
And she's gonna fail.
Oh my god.
Oh, no. No. I refuse.
Kethra, why?
Ella's so glad to have her token back. Look at the...
As you feel, as you're giving the energy, or as you're trying to heal him, it isn't that you actually roll 1d4 for me. You actually do heal him for 4 points of damage, which isn't what you wanted to do. But as you put your hand upon him and start to heal him, you feel that same presence that had been in your mind before. Its essence is flowing through him. And you know how, and you realize that he's been cursed, and he's been cursed for a very long time. And this entity that was in your head is responsible for it and near, but he's been fighting the curse ever since he and Jaylin started their fight. And everyone else, all the other werewolves here, are probably still underneath it. And whoever it was that was mocking you isn't that far away.
Okay.
You got a bad. It's like you're able to heal a little bit, but you get hit with this vision at the same time,
Gotcha.
and all of that happened to you.
All right. So being disturbed by that, the snark just kind of drains out of me because now things are getting a little bit too serial for my liking. And I just kind of whisper, "To your feet, warrior, you're forgiven."
Jaylin pats him on the shoulder and goes, "Thanks for not killing me."
And he gets to his feet and like bows a little to Kethra, and then turns to Jaylin and laughs and like puts a hand on his side, and he's like, I think I should be thanking you for that.
Yep. And this is the point when all the dwarves arrive. And
oh yeah, the dwarves are here.
The dwarven army is here. And Mathin, I'm going to have you go, and you're going to go hold the dwarves back so that they don't interfere with this while Jaylin
Okay.
and me take care of things.
Yeah, so Jaylin hears that going on and sees Mathin heading off in that direction, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that we brought an escort."
So the Storm Talons have been fighting the dwarves, right?
They took this place. They took Red Mountain recently from the dwarves. So you
Okay.
basically slaughtered a bunch of dwarves to capture the Aetherite and take this place, so you had control of the portals.
Okay.
And your father basically led you all into doing that.
Okay. So yeah, well, like when you'd heard I guess the griffin wings, Rothgar will have looked beyond Jaylin and seen this flock of griffins with dwarves on them riding forward, and yeah, will have went for his axe. But again, he gets that kind of hesitation, like, hold on, that wasn't necessarily what I wanted to do.
Can Jaylin tell that he's kind of fighting against himself here?
I am going to say roll wisdom.
That's an interesting thing to say. Hello, roll wisdom. No.
Nope. Take your point.
I fail the most interesting rolls. I really do. I guess that's where the derpy comes from. In
Yeah.
He's a derpy werewolf.
And so instead of seeing that hesitation of no, I didn't want to do that, he sees basically him decide to not go for the axe, and he goes, I will do my best to make sure that this does not end in conflict.
And Rothgar nods to Jaylin, and then he kind of thinks and is like, I just hope my father and the rest feel the same way.
I have a really bad idea.
Okay. You know how I love players with bad ideas.
He goes, Rothgar, would you like to make a convincing argument against them going after the dwarves?
And he looks to Jaylin and a little curious and says, "What do you have in mind?"
Jaylin is going to pull off his necklace and hand it over, and he goes, "A gift."
Do I recognize what it is?
It is a Wolf Alpha necklace. It's going to help him with leadership.
You have heard about this necklace in you've heard stories of it. You know that your father would sell his soul to possess that necklace. There is nothing you could do to please your father more than give that necklace to him.
Or use it against him.
Yeah, this is. Yeah, I feel like he's gonna like take it in his hand, kind of puzzled, and then recognize what it is and look at Jaylin surprised, and then again like looking at the sword, which he now kind of takes full, I guess, the full weight of, because yeah, before he was just like, yeah, it could be anybody that's found this, and it's like, well, you carry some powerful artifacts, my friend.
I mean, like, sometimes I almost die, and sometimes I need a way out of that.
And he takes the necklace, and says, this could make the difference, and he's gonna put it on but tuck it in like the hood that he's wearing so that it's not visible, because he's not sure how his father's going to react, and he's still not really sure of his own mind at the moment.
Right.
He's not going to immediately give it to his father, in case he needs to use it against him, because he's definitely feeling the wrong that's been done to him and his people recently.
Right. And you have an image of a hooded figure who's responsible for the wrong. Just a flash of it being somebody. There was the master and there was the other master. And the flash of the other master has done terrible things to you and your people. And most especially to your father, but you can't remember what that is.
Okay. So this would be the one that's still living, I guess, because one
Yes.
of them was thrown off the mountain. Okay.
Yes.
And yeah, he's gonna think about things and look to Jaylin and the others. And it's like, things have not been right here, and I don't know if I don't think whatever was causing them has completely gone. You had best be on your guard.
Thanks for the warning.
Kethra would like to do something stupid.
Okay.
She would like to use telepathy on our new friend Rothgar here.
Oh, now
Wow.
she rolls
She's
well.
gonna put a hand on Rothgar's shoulder, and Rothgar's gonna hear in his head, "I know your actions are not always your own in your own mind. Do not betray Jaylin's trust, or I will kill you."
And you can hear like me back, yes?
Yes.
So yeah, like Rothgar's eyes go wide at this voice in his mind. And he looks to Kethra, and you just hear his thoughts. And he says that his his family were once protectors of the crown and the Taos family, and that she need not worry.
And
Not
Jaylin is
now.
just watching this moment between them because no words are being exchanged.
And Kethra nods, like everybody can visibly see her nod to him, but she says back in Hrothgar's mind, "We are here to help you, but my loyalty lies with Jaylin. And if for a second I think that you will betray him, you will have my sword to deal with." And I just kind of move my hand to the hilt of my sword.
Oh, that's right. She has a sword.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Hrothgar smiles and out loud chuckles a little and says, "If you are as fierce a fighter as your prince here, then you will be fine." So that's the only part of the conversation Jaylin hears.
And yeah, he just kind of looks to Kethra questioningly, like raises a brow, and finds himself a little amused that they have a griffin, a changeling, a dragon mage, and a werewolf, and the most intimidating person here
It's Kethra.
Is Kethra.
Hey, we were told we weren't allowed to interfere.
Well, with the challenge, but now that that's over.
Oh, now that it's over, you can fuck with him.
Oh, I can set him on fire?
Well, I hope
I mean,
And Kethra removes her hand from Hrothgar's shoulder and just turns to Jaylin and says, "Don't worry, Scrub. I just wanted to make sure we had an understanding." And she winks.
You know what he mutters? He says,
What?
"Artio, you're gonna be the death of me."
Oh, interesting. Is Artio like? Is that specific to Jaylin now, or is that a family thing? I'm curious if Hrothgar would recognize that name.
You know what? Jaylin stumbled into it, but I wouldn't mind it being a family thing.
It can be a family thing.
Well,
Yes.
Laura, didn't we discuss Jalen's father being the first one of his line to take up being a paladin of Artio?
Yes,
Right,
yes,
because,
we did.
Because, yeah, it was a matter of we're the werewolves with control, which is why something like the necklace exists, by the way. It's basically, it doesn't give you leadership, like it doesn't basically give you mind control. It basically increases your influence over what might have been bestial to convince them to act like people. Yeah.
Okay. So like, yeah, Hrothgar looks thoughtful for a second and kind of like mutters, "Artio? Artio, like that feels familiar." And he kind of smiles that, things are coming back and yeah, there's a glimpse almost suddenly this prince from long ago has, or maybe not so long ago, or he doesn't really know, has turned up, and yeah, things are changing.
Things are changing.
Would you like to show us in?
And yeah, he turns around and kind of waves to the others and is like, "Yeah, my father will want to meet you."
And achievement unlocked. Everybody goes up to the Aetheryte.
Oh, no.
And the Aetheryte is exactly... Alexandra, why are you not moving? Well,
I don't have control of Hrothgar
no,
either.
no. Okay. A second.
There you go. I moved.
No. It wasn't me talking to the player. It was me talking to the game. Because when I mess with the map, I have to reload after. But we'll fix it so that you have control of Hrothgar. Congratulations, Hrothgar. You now get a nameplate.
Yay!
And you now get player control. The Alexandra, you see the Aetherite. This is what creates the portal. Basically, they're somebody who knows how can simply walk them and their party up to this, cast a spell, and take themselves to any other Aetherite in any of the world, so long as they have touched that one too.
She's gonna touch it.
Do it! And as you touch it, your hand glows for a moment, and you guys all know the sound.
Just attuned to an Aetherite. Really?
Congratulations, you have attuned.
Yay, attunement.
Are you going to tell the party what you're doing?
No, I'm gonna start writing in my journal.
Excellent.
I see this happening, and I give it a shot.
Same thing happened. You don't know what it means unless you're peeking at the journal to see what she's writing down.
No, he just kind of shakes his hand and goes, "Oh, that's weird."
Yep. Rothgar, as you see it, you remember that it was basically using the Aetherite in the capital city of Lothric. That basically is how you and yours got here in the first place.
Okay.
And so you also know what Aetherites do.
Okay. So have I attuned to this one already?
Yes, you have.
Okay. So yeah, he steps forward into the group and looks to Kethra and Lillith and Jaylin and says, yeah. Well, he looks to the two girls and is like, yeah, touch the Aetherite, and then he explains to them all that it's used as a transportation device.
Jaylin learned more magic.
Yeah, remember back at home, Daddy had one put at the top of a tower just for in case intruders came to visit.
And out of a dark room kind of comes one of the two that you had sent to your father. And he sort of growls and his ears go back a little and he goes, "Your father says to bring them in." And he goes, whoops, not the Aetherite. Come on, Laurel. He goes back into the darkness.
Interesting, it moves.
So many people like me, but not. And he looks to Rothgar and he goes, "You're a little different."
He looks down at himself and is like, "Oh."
I noticed when you changed. It's not the same.
And he nods and says, "Yeah, we are of a close line, but slightly different. Our changes are not the same."
Well, it's still good to feel not alone in this world. Shall we?
And Rothgar nods and leads them to his father.
Wait, what happened to the cat?
Oh, you still have your fire kitty. I was just
good.
lazy and didn't give fire kitty.
Fire kitty.
It's Lionel. Thank you.
Yeah, Lionel's probably actually been laying low because there's so many wolves around.
All right. And as you go into the darkness, would somebody like to cast some light?
I mean,
Yes,
we can
Kethra would
ask
love to
Kethra.
cast some
We
light.
can try with Kethra, but yeah. Okay.
She's going to use the rote light. An item you touch glows with divine light, about as bright as a torch, and it gives off no heat or sound and requires no fuel, but is otherwise like a mundane torch. Do I need to roll for this? No. Okay.
Oh,
We're gonna go that you don't have to roll for your rotes, just to make things
Yay.
especially simpler for Kethra, because there's only so many times I can stand watching you fail dice rolls in a game session.
Thank you, Laurel.
We'll save them for the important stuff. As you go in, you see about the one that had come out to call you, now kneeling before what looks like a throne made out of dwarf skulls and
Ew,
bones.
that's messy.
Sitting on the dwarf and the throne, Hrothgar is your father, but you are seeing him differently than you saw him when he sent you out to guard the door earlier in the day.
Yeah, I was going to ask if I see any change in him.
He is, his body has been is mutated, or he has died and been brought back, or there is just so much corruption going through him that it actually sickens your reasonably stout stomach. And he has a shining gold bracelet around one of his wrists as he sits upon the throne. And he is just filled with corruption and madness. And he licks his lips as he sees Jaylin.
Jaylin's gonna actually hold a hand out to make sure Kethra doesn't walk ahead of him.
Yep. And beside him, in the robed figure, for the very first time since you guys were on board the ship, you guys see a priest of Visago, of the Demon Lord, the people who had you all enslaved in Far City. And this one has the symbols and the robes of a high priest.
Would my father in this figure be aware of the change in me?
Let's have you roll. I'm going to have you roll your wisdom. Yes, you see that he he is so focused upon Jaylin that he's barely given you a glance, so you doubt that he sees anything
Okay.
regarding you of any kind of changes.
So yeah, as Hrothgar walks in, he's kind of startled by the look of his father. This is not how he has seen him.
Yeah, there's actually a look of doubt from Jaylin to Hrothgar. Like, did you just walk us into this?
And Hrothgar turns, like he walks up. He's surprised by what he sees, but he doesn't miss a step. And he walks up to the front of the throne and bows his head to his father and turns, like, to look at the group and like hold out an arm. And he looks at Jaylin and is trying his best to convey I did not know this was how things were. Yeah, this is not what I believed. I did not mean to bring you into this. And he just announces, "Father, I present to you Prince Jaylin Taus."
And the high priest goes, little Jaylin has grown up so well. And he goes, I'm disappointed in my acolytes who were supposed to bring you to me. inside Lothric, and it appears that your party has changed quite a bit. There's young Kethra, but I'm not aware of your other companions. And he goes, where's Quinn? Where's Elle?
There's a snarl from Jaylin. That's his answer.
Aw, they didn't make it here. What a pity. I had such plans for them. And he raises his hand to cast a spell.
I'm going to charge at him.
Roll your defy danger dex.
Yeah, I don't have.
Don't
This is not a
fuck
good.
it up.
This is not a good idea. Well, is the bless still in effect?
No.
No.
Okay. 7.
Okay, you have a choice, Jaylin. You can dodge out of the way, and the spell might hit one of the people behind you. Or you can take the brunt of the spell and try to continue your momentum forward.
That's actually his intent, is to make sure it doesn't strike anybody else. So he's going to take the brunt.
All right. In that case, roll your wisdom.
Come on, roll 20. Roll 20 lag. 8.
Okay. What happens is the spell lashes out, and you feel a collar of pure dark magic wrap around your throat and start cutting off your air. It there's just pain everywhere. It drops you to your knees, but you are still breathing.
Yeah, he's like pulling that, grasping at it, even though he's probably not actually able to grab it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that was that spellcaster turn, which means the king is jumping up, but Hrothgar's between him and the rest of you. He's sending his order to the other 7 that are in the room, and they're going to turn around and attack. But you guys get to go first. So Kethra, Lillith, and Alexandra. Let's go in that order.
Hmm.
And I'm going to give you a second to think about that. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Oh, so many things.
So, which of these things are hostile right now?
All of them.
Everything?
in the room.
Sure.
Hrothgar.
Yes.
What about Hrothgar?
Yep.
What
He's just an
about...
asshole. Let's burn
Wait,
him.
you are also hostile?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
You just said yes.
Hey, Midnight Vamp.
I don't know if I trust Martkos.
Well, if you saw what he was doing to Jaylin.
Might I argue that the wolf berserker is always hostile? It's who he's hostile to that.
That's probably.
I mean, that is technically true, because once I frenzy, the GM can use my character as if I was a danger. So yeah, I can attack people and stuff. Also, I love the way that this went, because as much as my character was genuinely surprised when he entered the room, as was I. Like, yeah, I was expecting werewolf dad, not undead, whatever the hell he is, dad.
Yeah.
Undead werewolf dad.
Undead werewolf dad.
Okay. Kethra,
Yes.
your turn.
You know what? I'm gonna go with another contagion. Can I cast it on the high priest?
Like, you're extending your darts?
Yes.
Yes, he is.
You can. You know that it may not. He may be be of such entropic magic that contagion isn't going to have an effect on him. It might. that there's the risk, but then and you know there's a calculated risk.
You know, I'm doing it anyway.
I love
Okay.
that you're planning for her failed rolls already, Laura. Oh,
But she succeeds.
Haha.
Does succeed.
And you know what? I am going to give our friend here, I'm going to give him dementia.
Roll it. Or I
And-
should say, you're going to give him dementia.
And he is suddenly confused and just like, he doesn't always remember where he is and he doesn't always remember what his spells do.
Mhm. His defy danger failed.
ooh.
Ooh.
You give him dementia. You're very effective at giving him dementia. The drawback of this all is this guy's going to come and try and do some bitey face on you.
Ouch. And I also take a -1 for spellcasting for the rest of the fight.
Yeah, as long as dementia's on him. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yay.
So is not going to be able to do any more spell casting.
But is his current spell still going?
His current spell is not. We're gonna say he did such a wonderful job of failing.
Yeah. So Jaylin's like,
Yep.
ah.
Kethra, roll 1d8. The werewolf slash you with some claws for 2 points of damage, soakable by armor.
Ow.
Lillith,
Yes, ma'am.
your turn.
Ooh. Well, I do have one more fable left.
Yes, you do.
And we are surrounded by doggies.
Yes, you do.
Doggies.
So, once upon a time, in a faraway land, there lived a group of flaming kitty cats. The fire cats.
Oh.
They were sworn to protect anybody that called their name. Fire, fire, fire cats. Ho!
Oh.
Fire cats, please. Oh wait, I need to roll. I need to roll for the fire cats. Shoot.
Roll 2d6.
Fucking love the fire cat spell.
Kethra whispers to Jaylin, I love that spell.
No!
The only fire cat comes
Lionel shows
is
up. Huh?
Lionel. Lionel
Lionel-
bursts out of Alexandra, where he was riding in Alexandra's pocket, and he jumps on the back of this werewolf and starts breathing on him. So he's got his little claws wrapped in, and now the back of his skull is on fire. So he's not going to be doing anything else except running around with a fire cat on top of him.
Can I also try and take a shot with my bow?
That actually, yes. Go ahead and try and it's like take a shot at your bow. Do you want to hit this one that's trying to chew on Kethra or someone else?
Yeah, I'll try and hit this one that's trying to nib on
Okay.
Kethra.
Aw, thanks,
Can I
Lillith.
roll dex for my bow?
Yes.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
That goes.
Roll your damages.
This is a +1 bow, also.
Excellent.
So,
See,
30 whole damage.
So you've sunk an arrow into it, and you make it stop chewing on Kethra as it goes, ow! Alexandra,
Yes.
there is lots of stuff you could do. What would you like to do?
Indeed there is. But I would like to go for the intimidation factor on all the wolves in the room.
Okay.
And I want to make an illusion and turn Lillith into a dragon.
Absolutely. And
That is an 8, so I get to pick 2. Let me just get the buck up real quick. Alright, I'm gonna choose your spell has unforeseen side effects. And the casting saps your energy, take -1 ongoing to int.
okay.
Until I have a few minutes to clear my head.
Excellent. Lillith, you turn into, well, you don't turn into, but these people all see you as turning into a dragon. And the king goes, it's Viola! And like is starts going at the mage and go at the priest and goes master, you must stop her, you must stop her.
I am Viola. You can't stop me. Grr.
The fact you have that token on hand worries me, Laurel.
Unforeseen effects.
Let's see.
And you didn't even know.
Let's see unforeseen effects. I'm scared.
All right. Jaylin, or actually Rothgar, your
Yes.
father. You just heard your father say that.
Yes. Decisions. Someone handed me a pretty helpful necklace earlier, but
Mm-hmm.
I also have my father to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And Kethra just shouts over the noise, remember what I told you.
By the way, I posted a GIF in Twitch chat that is very appropriate for the moment. It is.
Did you post it in Discord?
I can post it there too. Hold on. I'll put it in the Dungeon World chat.
It's not as good as the love bush, though.
No, it's not quite bushes of love. It's not bushes of pook love.
Oh my god, that's so Lionel with Alexandra's pocket.
Danger bush.
Danger bush. Oh my gosh, that is so appropriate.
You know, I feel like the 7, or I guess 6 and 1 distracted werewolf, are the more pressing, obstacle at the moment. So, so Rothgar is going to reach into his hood and take hold of that necklace, and call out to the werewolves in the room, to stop attacking the others, and try and bring his will to bear and overpower his father's.
Excellent. Poop,
Yes.
what did I make you roll to use the necklace? Was it charisma?
I think it's been charisma.
Yeah.
Okay.
Roll it. Bam.
Jaylin gets
You
a
succeed.
proud smile on his face. Because even he
Yeah.
feels that. He's even like, oh, okay.
So yeah, he takes hold of it and turns to the room and just shouts, half growls, half shouts, a stop, to the werewolves and to back away from the group.
So,
And they do so. He does 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 so. He's too busy running around with a kitten on his face.
Yeah.
On his fire, but he tries to do so. And your father. Roll me 2d6. Your father doesn't go back. He stands up, but he's hesitating. He's not drawing his sword. That bracer on his wrist, Hrothgar, you realize that it's kind of interfering with the magic of the necklace.
Okay.
But he doesn't rush in and attack you. He seems kind of it's not sort of half stunned.
Okay.
Jaylin,
mhm.
your action.
Hi, friend. This guy's about to get a face full of werewolf.
Roll it.
Hmm.
Hey, can Frank have his dice back?
So,
Jaylin, defy danger. Dex.
Ooh.
Okay.
You swing on. You head towards him, but even though he now has a debility, and he's not able to cast his spells right now, that's a very wicked staff in his hand. And however, you're able to read his body language. And so even though you were charging in to an attack and he swings it expertly, you are able to evade out of the side and kind of you turn the boss. So basically he's now facing you, and we're gonna switch you guys around.
Oh yeah, I turn him away from the party like a proper tank.
His proper tank. And so basically he has his back to the party. Kethra,
Yes.
there is one of the wolves that's stopped chewing on you, but he didn't back away quite the way the others did. But he's kind of staring you down. And you just know it was the guy that was asking to have you before.
I know that these are Rothgar's people, and I don't want to hurt them now, especially with kind of the understanding that she has with him. But this dude tried to take a chunk out of me, and he disrespected me. And she's kind of pissed off at that. She's gonna pull out her sword and take a swing.
Hey, it's that pack thing, you know. As Laura said, right as might. If he's going to come into you and you can kick his ass, well, then he's a shitty werewolf. Oh no!
You fail to hit him. He still doesn't attack you because because of what Hrothgar said, but you can see that he wants to. It wouldn't take a lot to have him do so, and he's still kind of there eyeing you in a not good way.
Oh, this is making me uncomfortable. Hrothgar, call off your dog.
Jaylin makes an offended sound.
What is dog an offensive term now?
Yeah, the right term is papa.
All right. Lillith.
Is this one still trying to eat Kethra?
Kind of. He's looking like he wants to.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to provoke it. So I will come up here
Yes.
and help surround this guy.
Yes. Put an arrow in his back.
No, I'm just gonna wait and see, I think.
Okay.
If he can surrender.
Alexandra.
Yes.
There is someone behind. You saw that your illusion move forward and move towards everybody else, and Lillith. But there is a mirror. There is a kind of mirror image of her. There's another dragon, kind of the same size, that's just hanging out in the doorway.
And she's going to take note of that, but there's more pressing matters on hand.
Indeed.
So Lilith is still an illusion of a dragon.
Yes.
Right.
Unless you wish it to be otherwise.
Oh no, I'm actually forbidden from breaking the spell myself.
Gotcha.
Like, that's the downside she took. She's never allowed to break her own illusions
Okay.
without penalty.
Gotcha.
So, in order to keep up her illusion, she's gonna walk up to the Lilith, and the illusion, and whisper into her ear and just says, "Open your mouth."
Lilith goes, ah!
And when she does, Alexandra's just gonna cast a fireball spell, making it look like it's coming from the dragon's mouth.
Do it.
I hope you've got that shield ready, Jaylin.
Bam.
Yep. That's gonna be black magic with element, the +1 dice, and the range. And I'm gonna aim that at the priest.
Do it.
Unfortunately, my damage dice have been stolen.
And now you hear delighted laughter from behind you, and the dragon in the doorway turns into a woman that does not look like Lilith.
And Alexandra's just gonna give a bow.
And she says, "Do it again."
And Alexandra's gonna repeat the spell.
You do not have to repeat the spell, just repeat the damage.
Alright.
This time, the woman in the back, Lilith, you feel another burst of magic that's kind of coming. It appears to be coming straight out of you into the priest. And the woman in the back of the room says, "That's proper dragon fire." She says that, and she's like, looks like she wants to pat Alexandra on the head.
But my lady, I was not trying to use dragon fire, I was just simply creating the illusion of such.
But you see, I wasn't. And the priest screams, and he kind of bucks. And Jaylin, you have a killing shot. An opportunity to make one.
The sword glows. He's
Do
pulling
it.
this. Yeah, he's gonna go for the sword this time. And he actually says, just so I can drag this out because I'm gonna fail this roll.
You can always roll first.
Because you and your kind are not welcome in this world. Get out.
Yay!
Yay.
And he just thrusts the sword directly into the dude's heart, or where he thinks the heart would be. Roll damage.
Roll damage.
$14.
Ooh, nice.
The sword pierces in, and the priest of Visahago literally bursts into little bloody bits that are like burning, and the sword glow fills the room, and that bracelet that was on the Wolf King shatters as the priest shattered, and you see this look of horror in your father's eyes, Rothgar, and he
Okay.
sort of drops to his knees. Everybody else, all the other wolves in the room, all just give out this sort of keening howl and are knocked unconscious. And they revert to human form. They're basically ripped out of their bestial forms. And just lay unconscious on the floor.
So what state exactly is my father in? Like, is he undead kind of thing, or?
It looks like he's in the process of becoming Lich.
Okay.
Like all you're pretty sure. Actually, roll your wisdom. Your father needs a good, clean death.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. So you said he had fallen to his knees.
Yes.
And I guess he feels the same way now. I think he recognizes what he is or what he's becoming.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, Rothgar looks down at his father on his knees, and he just points over to Jaylin and says, "Look, father, what I said was true. The line is not broken. The prince has returned. I'm glad you got to see that before the end." And he just rests a hand on his father's head for a moment, and then he's going to raise up his axe.
Do it. You don't need to roll for it.
Okay. And yeah, he sweeps it round, and brings it down upon him, I guess.
Bam. And his head goes off. And you become the alpha of the Storm Talons.
Ooh.
And everyone else, all the other wolves that are still here within the Red Mountain Tunnel, are also knocked out, and they're also knocked into their human forms by the death of the High Priest. And Kethra, you know that it had been the priest who had been mocking you in your head, and you just have this increased Bell satisfaction from the god, of the sense of something terribly wrong, even by Bell's neutral standard, is being put right by all of this. And the woman in the back of the room goes, "Oh, very good. You do not disappoint, any of you."
Jaylin
And-
actually steps forward and goes, "Who are you?"
She goes, "Oh, I am Viola."
Eh,
And she goes, "Sidonia, I'm ready to pay you now." And someone only Kethra
And Jaylin.
and Jaylin recognize comes out of the shadows and smiles.
What are you doing here?
Lady Sidonia.
She goes, it's so good to see you both. She goes, I am so very proud of you for taking the skills that I had managed to instill upon you and coming so far. She goes, I apologize for the way we were interrupted before, but I needed to let them think they had you by letting them have you.
I understand.
They seek to bring the demon lord into this world.
Indeed, they did seek to bring the demon lord into this world. But you just killed their high priest. You just resecured this aetherite. And now you have an ally. And she points to Rothgar and goes, who is attuned to the one within the Lothric capital, which means you're going to be able to teleport into the city itself. She goes, however, that's not where we're going today.
Jaylin looks a little disappointed hearing that.
And goes, because you've made some allies and along the way, and there's a few other things that you need to do, including rescuing your mother.
What?
Including rescuing your mother.
She
What?
lives?
And she goes, that's what I've been doing. Or I've been doing is I've gotten some information about your mother. And about how to free your sister. And those like her. But this is going to take for some very complicated thiefcraft.
We lost our best.
And Elle smiles. Or I mean, I should say Sidonia smiles and goes, no. I mean, yes, technically she's dead, but she's also keeping Wuro distracted. And that's a very important thing for Elle to be doing right now. Because believe me, if she hadn't been, can you imagine how today would have gone if that obnoxious brother of yours, and she's saying this to Viola. She goes, can you imagine how today would have gone if that obnoxious brother of yours wasn't getting his belly tickled by Elle? And Viola just kind of rolls her eyes and makes a little catty comment about where. And Sidonia goes, sometimes those that are dead in one realm are very much not dead elsewhere, and the effects of one have the effects upon the all. Know that Elle is still doing good work.
I get it. You said elsewhere. I see what you did there. Elsewhere. No, wait. No, anyway. Oh, and then Comcast starts to drop frames. They did not like that joke.
And Viola says, so we need to continue this conversation. Is like time to let the dwarves in, so that they can resecure their place.
Where will the Storm Talons go?
Oh, we are going to gather them up and take them with us. You're going to need them.
Jaylin
A
looks to
portable
Hrothgar.
army.
What was that, El?
A portable army.
A portable army, indeed.
Jaylin looks to Hrothgar. Yeah.
Hrothgar walks over to Jaylin and kneels again before him. And says that the Storm Talons have been under some curse for a long time now. It's going to take some time to get back to what we once were, but as much as I can offer, we are at your disposal, as am I, my prince.
Jaylin nods, and then he offers a hand back up. And he goes, "You will not do this under my rule. You will do this at my side."
And Hrothgar smiles and like claps him on the shoulder. And then he looks to one of the other werewolves in the room and gives the order to go and gather up everyone else, to send out the word that the pack is to muster.
Yeah, they're like pulling themselves up off the floor and muster for you. And once everybody is gathered, Viola smiles at you all and says, "So, come with me to Haven, and we're going to have a very long and interesting conversation."
And before they leave,
Mm-hmm.
Alexandra's gonna whisper in Jaylin's ear and just say, "If you need me to, I'm sure I could get Father to gather the battle mages."
He thinks about that for a second, and he goes, "I think we could use any help we can get." We're going to, well, eventually retake a kingdom and rebuild.
And everybody gets to go to Haven.
Ooh.
Yay!
Yay!
And we're going to pick up there. And this is, we will be entering the final chapter of this particular story. Yes.
Yay!
Which is not the final game session, just the
Wow.
final chapter, the final story
the
arc.
final countdown.
And I will let you wrap up stream. And since I skipped breakfast, I'm going to go grab something really quick from the kitchen, and then we'll do our post-game stuff and things.
Jaylin actually, when they arrive in Haven, wonders why so many of the houses don't have roofs.
They do. They're just patched up.
Okay. Thank you guys, whoever's out there are still watching, for hanging with us today. This has been our Dungeon World game, Planetary. If you want some more Dungeon World, every episode is currently up in VODs, and they've been highlighted and put into a playlist and all that fun stuff, because Dio is amazing. And some of it's been going to YouTube as well, and Laurel is currently fighting her own demons. I'm gonna find somebody to host and pay the love forward to, but I'll be back tomorrow morning, and we'll either do some Final Fantasy XIV or some Mario Odyssey. I'm actually really kind of leaning towards doing a Mario Odyssey run, but we'll see who's around and what they're up for. We're gonna go host Tushi. He is doing a 20-hour Mario-a-thon right now, where he's playing through various Mario games, ending with his first ever playthrough of Super Mario Galaxy. He's playing Mario 64 right now, so we're we're gonna give him a host. Go over and say hi if you and you know, like what you see. Maybe shoot him a follow or a sub. He's got a cool left shark emote. I will see you guys next time. Until then, stay beautiful. And you know what? Play some more games or something. You know, like that Will Wheaton guy says. These board games and tabletop games are actually really fun. So go do those.
Yes, they are.
I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Have a great day, everybody.
Bye.